everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm back with my wrap-up / review of the second book in the Shopaholic series by Sophie Kinsella, and that is Shopaholic Abroad. This is what the cover looks like. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, but I technically gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. And we pick up right where we left off from book 1. So if you haven't watched my book 1 book review, I would suggest going and watching that, because obviously this is a continuation from the original first video. So there will be spoilers in this video about book 1, so just a heads up. Obviously I'll do like a non-spoiler and then I'll do a spoiler section, sort of delving straight into this in a little while. So like I said, we follow Becky right where we left off, and the story didn't disappoint. I didn't really know how it was going to go, but I really enjoyed it. I'll read the blurb for you. So it says, for Rebecca Bloomwood, life is peachy. She has a job on morning TV, her bank manager is actually being nice to her, and when it comes to spending money, her new motto is only buy what you need, and she's really sort of sticking to it. The icing on the brioche is that she's been offered a chance to work in New York. New York, the Museum of Modern Art, the Guggenheim, the Metropolitan Opera House. He does mean to go to them all, honestly. It's just that it seems silly not to check out all the other famous places first, like Saks, Bloomingdale's and Barney's, and one of those fantastic sample sales where you can get a Prada dress for £10, or was it $100? Sorry. Is Becky too dazzled to care? So, like the blurb states, we follow Becky going to New York with Luke to explore different avenues for her job. So because she's doing so well in the UK on the TV show, giving financial advice, even though she's in hundreds of, well, not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of pounds worth of debt. Although she did clear it, and then she started raking it up again. She decided she was going to try and go across to the States to get her big break, and we follow her on her journey in the States. It's set sort of like half in the UK, half in the States, and then we go back to the UK. Here comes my cat, thank you very much. Yeah, so we see her go to and fro, which I quite like. I like how it wasn't all just set in New York. It wasn't that jumpy. Like I said, sorry, the cat is snoring and wagging her tail. So in this book, again, spoilers from the first one, Becky and Luke are now boyfriend and girlfriend, which obviously was the right path for it to go down. So we see them sort of establish their relationship a little bit more, although I feel like Luke still lacks a lot of depth in this book. I still don't really feel like I know him as a character, other than he's very business driven, which is great, but at the same time, I don't know, it just feels like Becky was always on the back burner and he never really gave her all of him. But we will see obviously what happens later on towards the end of the book. No spoilers yet. But yeah, I really liked the aspect of seeing her go from the UK into the States, and I thought she would have learnt from her previous mistakes, and she didn't. She was just as cash happy, going like that, throwing money at anything, trying to justify it, and I thought she would have learnt, but she didn't, and she got herself in so much debt. I'm gonna stop with the non-spoiler section. If you haven't picked up this series and you've listened to me ramble, please go pick it up. It's so good, it's so funny, and it's just one of those books you can pick up and put down. They're so light-hearted. I read a chapter a night. I'm not sucked into it. I don't have to devour it how I've had to devour previous books that I've read. It's just one that will take me a couple of weeks to get through, because I just read a chapter a night and then I go to sleep. A couple of weeks, that's a stretch, probably about a week. But they're just really light, easy reads, and thanks for throwing my straighteners on the floor. I reckon, you know what I'm going to say, I think if you're like a young teen wanting to get into like a different genre that's not like YA or teen books, I feel like this is a really good transitional series that sort of a little bit more grown up, but still really funny and really light-hearted and relatable for the younger audience as well. it's not like raunchy, and I don't believe there's much swearing in it at all. So if you're like younger and you want to sort of try and branch out your horizons when it comes to reading, I definitely recommend this series. So spoilers, where should I start? I'm going to start at the end. I'm gutted that her bank manager Derek is no longer going to be in the books because he's retiring. I loved him as a character. I thought their relationship was great, how obviously he was always on at her and getting really cross and chasing after her in the first book, and in this book he was sort of more understanding, and I'm really sad to see him go. I thought he was brilliant. I'm really happy with how this book ended, in the sense of Becky understood what she did was wrong. I guess she sort of developed a little bit. She didn't necessarily learn from her mistakes and stop the spending. The excessive spending as well was just ridiculous when she went to that sale and spent so much money. What was it, what they called? The sample sale, that was it. And she spent so much money. She didn't necessarily learn, but at the end of the book she knew the right thing to do was to sell all of her belongings, and she got offered the job to go, I believe it was into Washington. Again, you're gonna have to bear with me because I'm currently halfway through book 3, so I'm very trying to not blur the lines, but if I do apologise. But she got the job opportunity from Michael. Am I right? Am I wrong? Either way, a job opportunity came about. Yes, Washington. I've just seen the word Washington. A advertising agency in Washington. And Michael. So I'm going to say that that is accurate. She got the job opportunity, and she knew that to do that she needed to clear all of her debt and to sell everything and then start fresh. But I love that she took the bull by the horns and was like, actually, I don't enjoy agency work, or I don't enjoy financial work, because clearly it doesn't work for her. And I love how she went on her own. She didn't follow Luke. She went off on her own to New York, and she got her dream job as the personal assistant in a clothes shop, Barney's. But I just love how it's not the most glamorous and it's not the best paid, but it was what she loved and what she's passionate about and what she's good at, and she just followed her dream and just went ahead and just did it. I'm really happy that she wasn't reliant and dependent on Luke and his money, even though at the end we do see that he turns around and does follow her and sort of says, let's give it a shot, sort of thing, in New York. Like, I'm really happy that she also got him as well, but she did it on her own 2 feet. She didn't do it because of him. She did it because she wanted to, and she was independent, and I really like that about her. As impulsive and unrelatable she is, I just really like her as a character, and she's one that's going to stick in my mind forever because she's just so funny. I do not like Luke's mum at all. I think she's an arsehole, and I don't understand why he is so infatuated by his mum. I felt really sorry for Becky when she went to Tom and Lucy's wedding, and she was like, oh, Luke's here, and she kept like trying to distract everyone because obviously he was busy at work meeting, I believe, and he got there like really, really late, and then everyone thought she was lying eventually when he showed up, because everyone couldn't believe that she was with someone that was so successful when he was. And he let her down. And that's one thing again that I don't really necessarily like about Luke, is that I understand putting your business and your company and your job first, but Becky just always seems like an afterthought, and I really don't like that about him. He needs to prioritise his relationship and make sure that it's special, and at the moment I don't necessarily get the bond. Like I said, he lacks depth, and I'm hoping, like I said, I'm currently halfway through book 3, I'm hoping it comes a little bit later on, because it's frustrating to read when she is like in love with him and it doesn't really feel like it's reciprocated. And I also really liked the little twist, the fact that in the first book we saw that Tarquin and Becky went on a date together, and then he has then started seeing Suze in this book. Even though they're cousins, they've been sort of dating, but they're trying to like hush it and act like it's nothing, when actually we all know that there's more that meets the eye, and I really like that aspect. Like I said, it's just an all-round a really good book. What I hope for the next couple of books, I really hope that Becky continues to do well in her job and thrives in it. I hope she meets some new friends. Obviously she's going across to New York. It feels like she's quite dependent on Suze at the moment in this book. She doesn't really have any other friends, and I would like that to branch out and her be a bit more sociable, and especially with her job she could potentially do that. I really hope that she has more friends, and I hope that Luke prioritises her in the next book. The next book is called Shopaholic Ties the Knot. So the titles aren't necessarily like, there's no room for guessing. Ties the knot, obviously they're going to get married, which means there's going to be a proposal. So the next book a lot is going to happen, and I hope it's not all like brushed over. But so far I'm absolutely loving it. It's such a good, easy read, and like always, I recommend it. If not, I would not be sat here filming this video. It is a short one, but that's because it's quite difficult to film like the second and third book reviews, but at the same time I want them on my channel because I love the books, and there aren't that many like reviews on YouTube for these books, and there should be because these are brilliant. Even though, again, this book is quite old. This came out in 2001. That's very old. That's 19 years old. But like I said in the first one, this one doesn't feel that old. It has aged really, really well. Apart from your fashion choices, I feel like it's done alright. And I absolutely love it. And it's going to be one of those series that I will recommend to everyone. So I'm going to go. I hope you all have enjoyed today's video. I will be back soon with a wrap-up discussion review of book 3. If you've got any other book recommendations for me, please leave them below because I'm always on the lookout for more books, although I do have quite a lot, not only on my shelf but also on my Kindle and on my second shelf out there. And I will see you all in my next video.